Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little different. Don't worry, it's not going to be something we're going to do all the time, and we're not changing to motorbikes, but we am doing a couple of motorbikes at the moment just for something different. We have still got the Discovery, which we've got some videos coming on that have got to be edited. That's the camper. That's, can you even see the Discovery? There it is. There. Done the suspension height and all that sort of stuff, so there's some videos coming on that soon, fixing the rear seats as well. But right at this moment in time, Josh has got, you might have seen it in previous videos, I'll show it you now. He has got a Yamasaki motorbike. Now this thing is a damn big bike, twin discs, lovely looking bike. Everybody comments on how it looks. Big massive tyres on it, and crazy it's a 50cc. He had it when he was only old enough to use a 50cc. Now he wants a 125. So what we have done is we have purchased this 125, which is a Kaiser KS125 GY6. This is a 125. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this engine out of this and we're going to put it in the Yamasaki. Is the idea. We'll see how it goes. This is the first time I've ever took an engine out of anything really. So we're going to strip this down, get the engine out. We've made sure it runs. It does. It runs. It rides. It drives. It stops. But brakes don't matter really. It's just the engine we want and the electrics to make the engine run. And we're going to swap it all over. So here we go.
Taking this off.
First, the seat comes off. Seat's not attached well, so that was easy to get off. This bike only costs 300 quid. You won't believe it, but it's 300 quid. It's done 4,000 miles. It's a 2011 and it stopped being used in 2013, so it's only been rode for a couple of years, but it hasn't been used for 10 years. So obviously the carbon stuff will probably need a clean. The chap we brought off did say he changed the oil. The disc brake on the rear was C, so we just let that off to testing. But yeah, we're going to get all this stuff off, get the tank off, get the engine out, exhaust off. Josh is taking the fairings off now so we can see what we've got and what we're going to deal with. I am still doing my Kajiva over there. You can see it's fully stripped down. The tank has been painted, and I've just put another coat of another clear coat on it. So there is runs in this section here, but that was because we was getting some reaction here, so I filled it with paint, and that section there is under the fairing, so it doesn't matter. So I let it run down there, just wiped it gently off on the undercoat. It's not the top coat, it's the undercoat that had a bit of a run, but it's nice and shiny. I've sprayed it, I can't speak, I've sprayed it in my Bentley paint, which is absolutely lovely. It's got glitter in it, so we've done that. So Josh has took that off, and then there's this one to go. He said it's got a brand new battery on it, which is good. The battery hasn't got much power left in it, but he did say he put a new battery on there, because Josh's battery is absolutely dead. He doesn't ride the 50 a lot because it will only do 35 mile an hour, and in all honesty that can be dangerous on the road because you can't get out of situations, you're struggling to keep up with traffic. But it's done him to get to work and back. How many miles has it done, Josh? 2,500 or something? 2,500. It's only done 2,500 miles, and you know, somebody might say you should sell it and use this or buy another bike, but we like that bike. It's a big bike that was initially made to be able to take up to a 350cc engine because of the size of the bike, which means this 125 should go in there fine. The 50 it's got in there is a pit bike style engine, so the actual barrel is horizontal rather than vertical. So this has got to go up under the tank, but it should fit, like I say. But anyway, we'll continue stripping this down. There's the lovely new battery, so we'll get that battery off. We've got some crazy fuse stuff going on here. There's some electrical issues, and also there's a switch being put on here.
Something on the side.
Yeah, there's a switch being put somewhere down there, simply down there, which turns the thing on. So there is an electrical issue with it, but we'll sort that out. A little air filter there, look, or a little breather. Might be an air filter. I think it's an air filter. Let's get the engine out. What we're going to do is take the tank off now. In there you can see on the other side there's a little tap, which is on and off and reserve, I think. So we'll turn that off to make sure no fuel comes out, because it has got fuel in there. And then this pipe here needs to be pulled off the end of there.
Oh, already coming out. That way.
There might be a bit of fuel in it.
Well, we don't know which one's on and off. I've just twisted it and out that.
It says on and off, I think. Can you see? Light it with a torch.
Get the torch out.
It is a shame to strip this bike, but it's something to do as well. Does that say
fuel?
reserve or?
And that says can.
Can.
Yeah, there's a little
Which
symbol.
is this?
This says fuel. This says can.
Well, let's pull the stick off. Turning. Other way. There we go. No, to the middle, to the middle. There we go. Middle is off.
That's strange. So that means bottom's reserve.
Yeah. So 2 bolts there, and then it'll probably just pop off. Oh, there's one there as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just held on like that. That's perfect. So just them 2 there, Josh. Let's pop them out and get that tank off. Couple of 10 mils, it looks like. If anybody has one of these bikes, because looking at them, they're pretty rare. I seen many of them for sale. But it's a nice looking bike. But if anybody has one of these and needs any spares, wheels, brakes, exhaust, maybe not exhaust because we might have to chop that a bit. Front light, petrol tank, all that sort of stuff, then give us a mention in the comments, show it in the comments, and we'll see what we can do for you. Right, the tank is off. We've just 2 bolts and take that off, and now we've got access to the rest of it.
Right, so we've got the throttle cable down here that we're going to take off, and also remove the battery, you know, so we'll get to doing that now. I believe this, as you can see, it's just held on by a bolt, so if we just loosen this up and then tighten this in, we should get the cable a lot more slack so it can come out.
Where are we?
Taking throttle out.
I'm taking the throttle out.
Trying to get a lot more cable on it now.
And then you can pop it out there.
Yeah.
Probably need something.
Do you reckon we can push it out from the back, or?
Is there a slot up here? Oh, there's a slot up here, look. Once you get that all the way out from the bottom, there's a little nut on the bottom bit there.
Oh.
Get that nut off the bottom. Like that, then screw this out. And then, there we go.
Okay.
And that should come out from down there.
Here we go.
There we go. So that's the throttle disconnected, and then it's going to be the same with the choke as well on this side. So this is a carb engine, so it has got a choke. This is, it's similar. Pull the choke up. Oh, it's that screw there.
Yeah.
Undo that screw, and then you'll be able to get that out and pop that out the bottom of there, I think. I don't know, how is it held in? Same way? Yeah, it's the same way, it's a little ball on the end. So I'll just unscrew that. We've just pulled the needle out the carb there, just to separate it. We'll shove a bit of weight inside there to stop anything falling down inside that chamber. What we need to do now is disconnect this battery, and then we'll disconnect all the electrical plugs to the engine. And then we're going to have to look at down there where the chain connects, and we're going to have to disconnect the chain from the engine, and also the clutch, wherever that is located.
The clutch is down here.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, so clutch cable's also going to have to be removed as well, and then that's all the cabling removed. It's just electrical connections after that. There's a screw on top of them. You might be able to just unscrew my screwdriver. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a good holder.
No, that would have been an MLT fail. Let's just screw that back in there. There's a little threaded thing screwing together. The petrol smells a bit stale, innit, I think.
You reckon?
Yeah. Which probably ain't helping it run. There we go, did the battery. So we'll put that on charge in a bit. Next step is clutch cable and then exhaust. Obviously the exhaust is also holding it on, so the exhaust is going to have to come off. So clutch cable is here. Shall we take the exhaust off first to get it out of the way?
Yeah.
So the exhaust is held on there and it comes up round here. Where else is it bolted?
So here's the side.
There, that's it there. There's a connector there and one there as well. So three, looks like there's three holding the exhaust on. But like I say, because we're fitting this engine to that bike and the exhaust is a completely different place, because the exhaust on the other bike comes up and round the bottom, we need this exhaust to come up here. So, don't snap them off. Down. It might be worth, the last thing we want to do, well,
Yeah, pointing that now.
yeah, so we'll do. The last thing we want to do is snap these off and then have to drill them out. So it might be worth putting a bit of heat on them, you know.
Do you reckon 12s?
There could be 12s. Shall we get a bit of heat on it or what?
Oh, I'm using petrol and that either.
Oh yeah. I'd use a socket, you know. I'd go in there with a socket. You got way more movement with a socket. So with the right tool, it's coming off with no heat. So we'll get that off there, and that off there, and one off there, and then the exhaust. It won't come out probably because of the weight in there, but it'll be off the engine, which is what we want. And once this exhaust is sort of a bit more dangling out the way, we can look at releasing the clutch. This engine, we were saying how nice this looked and how good it looked, but I can see now that somebody has get it a quick flash over with some paint because they've painted the rubber thing there. So just somebody's get it a bit, probably the chap outside will also give it a bit of a tidy up to make it look a bit more presentable. But for the age of the bike and the miles it's done, it looks alright to me. And Josh will get more use out of his bike with this engine. Right, so the exhaust come off quite easy, and we split it there, as you can see, into two sections, which meant we could get it out. And now we can see the clutch cable here. That comes out by, has it got a groove in it? There. Yeah. So we need to pull the clutch forward, and then we can pop the clutch cable out, and then we can undo these two nuts here and slide it out, and then that's free as well. And then, is that everything apart from the electrics on the other side that have got to be undone?
That size, except for taking the carbs
Oh,
off.
we're going to have to take the carb off simply because we can't slide the engine out with the carb still on. We might be able to tilt it out, but it's definitely going to be easier to unbolt the two bolts that hold the carb onto the barrel up there, and then we can just slide it out quite easily and take the carb out later.
Do we have to take spark plugs out?
You can. I mean, we'll take that. We'll take that off, and we'll undo that to all the electrics. So all the wiring runs down there. So on that side, we undo all the plugs and get them out of it as well. But for now, what we're going to do is get this clutch out. So it's going. This will take a bit of moving. I would have thought. Yeah, I'm going to move my hand, so we might have to jemmy that with a bar, so we can pop it out. Where are you going to get a bar? Oh. Might need something, you know, the actual jemmy bar.
Right.
Yeah, there's one here. Here's one. Jemmy bar pry bar, whatever you want to call it. Bar. Yeah. If we put it against that there, and then do that, then hopefully we can wiggle it out. There we go. Now we've got to undo it. I think it's.
That should be 12.
Yeah, undo them, because we've got to get it off this part of the engine as well. I've got a 13 in my hand. Yeah, them 12s. We'll undo them, and then we should be able to get that out as well. What we'll probably have to do is, them should slide over the end of this, but we're going to have to get this rubber off it as well, so we can slide the nuts off it. Got what looks like an earth there, and some other pipes that we're going to have to probably undo. That's a breather, I think, that one. It goes nowhere. And we'll have to have a look at these electrics when they come off, see what's going on here, because we've got just a bare fuse there knocking about with no covering. So if the battery is on and that was to touch an earth, you would expect that to spark if it is alive. We've got some other gubbins up here. That looks like the starter solenoid there. But all the lights worked on it, the indicators work, there's lights, brake lights, they all work, so we know the wiring works for that. But as for the gears, it's not showing what gear you're in, so it's always saying it's in gear 2 on the screen here, and it's always showing as neutral over here, so we might have to have a look at that as well on the gear linkage. Anyway, we'll continue to this, we'll get this off, and then we'll come back when we're ready to pull the engine out. These are the ones we're going to have to get off for the carb, either them two there, them two studs, or probably easier that one and the one underneath on the other side, and that will break it from the engine. And we'll undo all these wires that are down here on this thing here. This is just the starter I'm taking off, so we've took pretty much everything off now. These are the last two things. We've got an earth here, but the screw is rounded and we can't get it out, so we're going to have to cut that and then sort that out once the engine's out, and we can get to it easier. And then we've got this starter cable from the starter solenoid to the starter, which can come off. And then all we've got left is the engine mounts. We've undone all the electrics we can see. We've just got the engine mounts, and then we can hopefully just pull the engine out of this frame. And it's took what, half hour?
Yeah, proper quick.
So, engine mounts, we have got, what we got? There, there's one below there. There's this, oh shit, before we do that, we've got to take the chain off.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to have to come over this side, remove a plate from over here, and have a look at getting the chain off. The chain is quite tight, so we're going to have to slacken the back wheel off probably. But it'll be under there. Shit, I fell off. I would think it's going to be under that.
I know last time I took one of those off, I snapped a bolt in.
Yeah. So we're going to have to get this cover off here, and then we'll be able to see the front sprocket. We might need to loosen the rear wheel off, move the rear wheel forward, so we've got some slack on the chain to take the sprocket off, and then that is definitely it. We can undo the engine mounts and pull it out. Right, we've took the cover off the chain there, and we've took the sprocket off, which you can see in the little tub there, just 2 10mm, saves us pulling the wheel forward. So we've got the sprocket off, and now we're doing the engine mounts. So it looks like there's 3 or 4 of these. Will that come out of it? Might have to knock it out.
Could I try some 320 on this?
Yes.
It's just, it's all creased out, it's all flipped off,
Yeah.
and I can't get it down.
Mum's sanding my bearing down. Will
Yeah,
is it turning, Josh, or no?
It's turning, yeah, but yeah, I do know.
Get us hammer then, what is it?
320 and 600.
Hit it with the hammer. So yeah, hammer, that one. There's got to be some at the back, obviously. There's one there, big one there. So maybe them 3 engine mounts to hold it in. What we might have to do is cut these engine mounts off to remount them on the other one. Hey, that should come out now, Josh. No? I might need to knock it out with a screwdriver. I'll have to turn the camera off to do that though. Is it me talking? I thought you were talking. So we've took a load of engine mounts out, and we've took this. The engine is moving now, sort of. But the way this engine is mounted in here, it looks like you can't get past any of the engine mounts. So you have to undo these 2, and there's one down, right down here at the bottom. And then the bottom of the frame should drop out, in theory. We do not know if that's going to happen, but that's what we're going to try and do. So we'll set you up so you can see this bit as we're doing it.
Don't forget about the gear lever.
Oh yeah, I have to take the gear linkage off. So I just took a little circlip off there. That was on there. Took a circlip off, slid it off. Now let's set you up here. Is that? You can sort of see what's going on now then. Yeah, so we're taking these off here. Is it spinning?
Yeah.
What size then? 12, mine. Mine is spinning.
I was on the bottom one first.
Oh. Go back to the bottom one then. Do you think we should put a jack under this? So we can lower it and put it out? So it don't just fall on the floor and blast the big hole in it?
Yeah, probably.
Go and grab a
Bottle jack or...
no, a rolly trolley jack. Rolly trolley jack. I'm taking more and more and more of this. We have no idea what we're doing. Yeah, it's going to come out of there. One thing we have got to do is cut that earth, but it's got to cut. One thing we have got to do, Josh, is cut that green earth. Get the cutters and cut that. We forgot to cut it. Just enough so we can solder it back together. Okay. So it's this one now. Just pump it up to the level. Probably have to close the thing first.
Is it? Oh.
We'll just put this jack under it, so when we release the engine, it just going to drop to the floor. We should be able to lower it down, and that means that if we have got anything connected that shouldn't still be connected, we've got a chance to get it off before it goes ripping it out. Okay. Okay. Okay, undo this one.
Where's mine? Oh.
The moment of truth.
Oh, that one's tough.
Oh yes, the engine dropped then, did you see?
Yeah.
Josh, pull it out. I've got it. There's the nut of the engine. Okay. Hopefully now when we lower this jack down slowly, the engine should lower.
Yeah, it's coming out. Really?
Is anything? Can you see anything that's attached? Hang on. What's that? What's that there? Look.
That's a clutch.
What's it going through though? Look. Look at my fingers.
Mount. Also a mount. You'd have to hold on. I think we can clip it maybe.
Can you bend the mount open?
Yep.
Really?
But this one we could get through because of the so
Oh yeah.
you will get through that. So I will say there's pipe attached here.
Well, hopefully we can drop the engine out of this frame anyway. Drop it down a little bit. I'm gonna try and support the engine. Slowly catching okay. Okay, stop there. It's like stuck in the mount here. You know what we should have done? We should have left that. Drop the frame down. Can you pull the frame off it now?
Oh, what?
Can you pull the black frame of the bike off the engine? It's just stuck, I think. You just need to get the pry bar or something. Pry it that way.
Which way?
To off. Don't pry the yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. There we go. Anything else attached to this that you can see?
No.
Okay. Help me with it then, because it ain't right. Ta-da! One engine removed in about, what, an hour?
Yeah.
All in. And it's out. So, that little beauty is going in the 50cc, turning into a 125. I think this is the easiest bit, getting it out of here. Getting it into the other bike is going to be harder because we've got to make mounts for it to fit on, which we'll look at using these for. But we can cut, we can weld, we've got the capabilities and we've got the machinery. So, good start. What are you saying, Josh?
Good start.
We'll see you in a bit when we take the other bike to bits. So the next step is removing the wiring loom, because obviously this engine runs using this wiring loom. So I'm going to use this wiring loom to wire the stuff up on Josh's bike. It should be able to control all the lights. He has got daytime LED running lights on that bike, so what we're going to have to do with them is we're going to have to put a 12 volt light on when the ignition's turned on. It might be easier to use the handlebar equipment off this bike and put it onto his bike than it would be to try and wire all that in. Then the plugs will fit the plugs, and we'll just have to wire in a couple of other newer things. So if we use these, because these are alright, are they, Josh?
Yeah.
Do the job, don't they? You got indicators. Well, yeah, you got electric start, you got indicators. Obviously this has got a choke, which your other bike hasn't got, so we're going to need the choke anyway, which is part of that one. So it's probably best to use these, and it'll make it a quicker job as well. And we're probably going to have to use the ignition barrel off this as well. See if we can get that to fit onto to his bike. Yeah, it ain't going to be a super easy job, but we'll be able to do it, I'm sure. Because if we could do it, we've got 2 strap bikes. So we should be able to do it and get it all up and running and working like it should. So we'll just get all this unhooked anyway. We're going to have a look at the... Did you have a look at the spark plug? Did you get it out?
Yep.
Does it look clean and all that?
It's black.
It's black, okay. Well, we'll clean the spark plug up. I can't remember what black means on a spark plug. I have to smell it, see if it's over fueling or not. Does it stink of petrol?
Oh, no, it does.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's super black. So it might be worth getting a new spark plug. Yeah. In there, which will help it, because it does run, but it slowly sort of dies off and cuts out. I mean, we've rolled it and changed gears through it, and when you're changing gears and riding the bike, it's fine, but when you come to a stop, unless you keep revving the bike, it does try to cut out. So maybe the idle on the carb or something like that, but we'll sort something out anyway. We'll carry on stripping this down and getting all these electrics out and where we need them. Right, as you can see, we're completely stripped down. We've got the clocks off, the ignition out, all the wiring loom is out. As you can see, some of it's there, some of it's over there, the engine, the carb, the lot, it's all out, ready to be fitted. We've got this switch here on the clutch, unsure why that would be there. Don't know why, maybe it's something to do with the gear selection bit that was so knows what gear it's in, don't know. What's this we got here? That is the clutch cable. These are 2 T's. We might need to use that clutch cable simply because obviously it's a different engine to the one we've got over there, so the clutch cable may not fit. There's a few rogue wires knocking about. We've got this one here. What is that to? Oh, it's got an electric speedo drive on this.
Told you that earlier.
Yeah, you said it got a speedo drive. They've all got speedo drives down there, but this one's electric. Normally they've got a spinny thing. Oh, that could be a problem. what we might have to do is, there is on eBay you can buy speedos with normal drive. We're gonna have to check what the speedo drive is on that one. Hopefully it's electric with the same amount of wires, but we're gonna have to have a look in the back of the clocks and see what it is. But as you can see, we're getting in there now, and this is what we're left with, the bare bones of the bike. Right, so as you saw, the engine is completely out of the other one. So that's all out, the electrics are out. It's ready to be fitted into this one once this one's removed. So as you can see, there's a lot more fairing involved in this bike. We think we've got to start at the back. There's no instruction manuals on any of this, so it's all suck it and see. Start at the back, get all the fairing off all the way around so we can open up to a bare bike. Then same thing again, exhaust, electrics, clutch, all that sort of stuff's got to come off. One thing we might have to do something about is the gear shift or the gear select on the bikes. We might have to mess about with the way they fit on and maybe cut off the stud that one is on that bike, because I think they work slightly different. Other than that, it's the electrics that will cause us an issue probably, so we're going to have to see what we're going to be doing with the electrics to get it working. But like I say, we took all the electrics off the other bike, which can be swapped over. We can swap all of this stuff and plug it in. We've got that as well, but there is that little problem with the neutral, but the bike still runs and still works, and the speedo still works. The only issue we've got is that this has got an electronic speedo, I think controlled by the ECU, rather than something on the front wheel. Oh, where is it? Oh no, hang on, it's got a speedo drive down there. It has, Josh. So it's got a speedo drive down there, so if it's got the same amount of wires as the other one, which hopefully is just 2, I believe, then we might be able to get that speedo drive working with the new speedo. Or even we might be able to get these clocks working, I don't know. That bike hadn't got a anything to show your revs. Taco, I believe that's called. It hasn't got anything to show your revs. But we can have a look at the electrics, have a look at the wires, see what wires are what. They might work together, they might not, but that's something we've also got took the key and the barrel and everything out the other one. But we can try and see if we can hook it up to this one, because I think these are going to be pretty standard. I don't know, but this bike, you can see the size of it, it's going to be much nicer once it's got the 125 in. So Josh is going to take over and start taking it to pieces. So look, that is perfect. Do you want to should I put it on time lapse?
Oh, yeah.
And they'll just time lapse you taking it out of pieces. Time lapse, come in. Right, as you can see, that side is off, and all the holes, what have we got? We got one there, and there's something that pushes in there. One there, something pushes in there. We've got them down there, up there, there, and there. So on the bike,
all these,
and them screwed in from the back with actual screws, are they? Yeah. So you got all them around there, couple down there, one there, couple there, one there. And then this piece has to come off as well, and then you'll get that entire side piece off, undo your indicator, and then that's removed, and we can see the beats that we need to tackle inside there, the engine. And as you can see, this is a pit bike style engine, so the barrel, the head is there, and it comes up to this throttle body here, which is controlled by an ECU rather than a carb. That looks like the airbox there. Batteries on the other side. So what we're going to have to contend with, I mean, there's more than enough room to mount that engine there either. There's loads of room, but what I'm going to have to contend with is the engine mounts, because obviously it's going to mount completely different. There is your coil to the spark plug, same as on the other one, So what we'll have to do is what we've got off the other one is mount it. See if we can mount it into the mounting points where it is on here. Yeah, and the carb will fit just in the back there, and the engine will fit in that area there with a crankcase down there. Is the plan. And the exhaust you can see is in a completely different area because it comes up and fits to the bottom of the engine there. Ours has got to wrap around to the front, so we're definitely going to have to do a bit of chopping and changing. I was looking at this pipe here saying, is this the same size as the one that come off the 125? It looks like it, but you can see that it gets very thin in this area. This bike, because it's a 2002, also has an L2 sensor, which obviously will have to go with the rest of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to flog that 50cc engine with all its electrics, hopefully, so somebody can use it and put it in something else. And this has got a de-restricted ECU on it as well, so the ECU's the restrictor took off it, so that means it'll rev to 12,000 revs, so you can get the most out of this bike on a 50cc. But we shall continue. You're going to take the other side off.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the other side off. There's no point filming that because it's the same. We'll get the other side off. What about the front? We're going to have to take the front end off as well, so I can get to the clocks and stuff. So the front end will come off as well. We'll film the front end, but we won't film the other side, so we'll get that done first. Good idea is to put all your Allen key bolts back in if you can, because obviously there's going to be a bit of time while this fairing's off while we find about with this engine, and we don't want to lose where they came from. So yeah, on my Kajiv we did none of that. They're just all in a box. But I have bought a new kit of these bolts in red to replace all the bolts that I've got on mine. So we shall continue and we'll see what we get out of it. Both sides are now off, and now it's time for the seat to come off because the ECU and stuff's under the seat, and the battery. Is the battery under there as well?
Yeah.
So it's a what sort of that? 10. 10 mil under the seat panel there to get the seat off. And this is how you get to the battery. It's a bit of a nightmare to get to the battery on this because you have to pull them side panels like out that you've seen us pull out, and then stuck in there quite hard, and then you have to take the bolts out the seat, and then it just pulls up there, and then it just pulls out at the front and slides off the back, I think. There we go. And there is your battery. So if you ever need to get to the battery, that's how you do it on one of these.
ECUs there.
ECUs there, just knocking about under the seat. So we shouldn't have to take that rear seat off unless we've got to unhook the brake lights and that if we can't get to the wires. So now, front fairing off, then we'll have to see if we need to take the tank off or not. It ain't too much of an issue to take the tank off, so you need 2 bolts and it pops off at the front, like they all seem to. And then disconnect we just have to disconnect the fuel. Is there an on and off on this one, no?
I don't think there's a reserve on it.
But can you turn the fuel off is the question from the tank, or does it just come out the tank and that's that?
We've got motorbike for deep watch, motorbike for seats for days.
There it comes from, up there. Up there. It looks like there might be something on it to turn it on. I would have thought there is, so you can get the tank off without having to try and drain it. Yeah, but we could unhook it from the fuel filter there and then block the end of the fuel filter up, and then that'll stop it coming out anyway. But yes, let me get in there, getting all this stuff off. So front fairing off now, get all that removed out of the way so we can know what we're doing with the electrics and the clocks and everything. We can rebuild all that before we put the fairing back on. And obviously what we'll do is we'll get the engine in, get the seat back on and get it running before we put all the fairing back on and make sure that everything works like it should before we put it back together. But we've been doing well. I mean, the first job on the other bike took an hour and he's about, I don't know, 45 minutes into this and the fairing's nearly all off. The other bike had only got 2, 3, 4 pieces of fairing.
So we had a little trouble taking out the computer because turns out I took out a bunch of bolts that weren't supposed to be taken out, but instead we took it off the front here by, if you can see, this part on the frame here, this one, and there's one straight through there, and we opened these clips here and just fed the wires through. But now we've taken off accelerator, clutch, and we have also taken off the exhaust here. But there ain't much left to do now. We've just got to unplug a few things, like the stuff going into the airbox. Got to undo the battery, and I believe there is just a few bolts. Where are they? There, right on the bottom to undo, and that's really it. Then we can pull it out and start getting the other engine in. But we'll take out this battery then off camera, and we'll show you taking out the engine.
Right, the tank is off. To get the tank off, it is just two bolts there, and then you just have to prise the tank over the like rubber mountings, and then there's two balls there. You can see, look, circles, and the tank slides backwards. It does take a bit of getting off, but now that is off. What is this here? There's all sorts of rubbish on here that we don't know what it is, but none of it's needed. I mean, there's a lot of electrical connections to that tank, fuel connections, telling it all sorts of game, and I don't know, there's like 3 electrical connections going to it. I mean, that goes to the tank, don't we?
Yeah.
Where that goes, I do not know. It goes into a massive wiring line, but we've got that going to the tank and some other connections. Anywho, we don't need none of that crap, so we're just going to whip all the wiring off, whip the engine out, put the wiring in from the old bike, get rid of all this wiring, leave the indicators, the rear lights, the front lights, and we're going to use the clocks from the old bike, or new bike, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, engine out. An engine out is 4 bolts underneath and 1 here, and then the engine can come out. You already disconnected the exhaust and everything off there. There's probably a few more cables to come off like this. Oh no, it's already disconnected. This hasn't got a choke on it. Everything else has been disconnected. So yeah, all good. We'll get going, getting that engine out. Right, we're running pretty low on battery, but the wiring loom has now been took out. Just cut the cable ties off, run it all out. On the back here, we've got a couple of indicators, which is that one and that one, and then we've got 3 there, and we've got 2 there. Them 2 are going to be for the normal plate light, which isn't on the other bug. I don't think it's got a normal plate light on it, has it? I think the back light creates the thing, so I'm going to have to do something with wiring that up. Basically, we're going to have to wire it up so it's live when the rear light comes on to them 3. And then them are your indicators, so them wires are nice and easy at the back there. And the next thing we got at the front, indicate. We've got these from the lights and everything, which are going to go, because we're going to put the grips off the other bike on, because we've got all the electrics that work them off that side as well. So them have got to come off anyway. The other thing is we've got some indicator ones somewhere. I don't know where. Any idea where they are, Josh?
What?
The indicator ones. Well, they'll be part of this anyway. So because
it's these ones.
Yeah. Well, them are coming off anyway, because I'm coming off with this, so we'll have new indicator ones. You got all the wiring to the CDI there that powers the spark and the ignition and everything. And that's it really. So now it's time for the engine to come out, and it's mounted with 4 underneath there. See if you can see them, the one under there. And then it's mounted with that one there. So we are definitely going to have to build some mounts to put this engine in, because that's got no underside engine mounts as far as I know. Let's have a quick look at the underside of this engine. It has, Josh. It's got 4 engine mounts on the underside. If them match up with them 4 on there,
You don't have to do anything.
well, we're just going to have to build a top engine mount probably, because it'll have the bottom, and then we need a top engine mount. That could be brilliant, but it all depends on when this engine is in, where it sits in that frame. But that could give us great news. Anyway, Josh is going to undo on them bolts, and we'll film us taking the engine out. Right, all bolts are released, and the engine has fell forward, as you can see. But I think everything apart from this here, whatever the hell this is, that's got to come off there. Or do we just take the whole thing? I don't think I'm going to need that, am I? That's nothing to do with us. So that's all that. That's the airbox. So yeah, okay. So now we can just lift out the engine and get a shot of it. Anybody looking for a Yamasaki 50 engine that runs without no problems, with a full wiring loom, we have got one. Let's see if it fits to come out the gap. Does it need to come this way?
The main problem is this box.
What? Oh, the airbox.
Yeah, I'll come round there.
You can let go now.
Ready?
Oh shit, yeah, you disconnected the
I thought
gear.
you disconnected.
No. We just got to disconnect that.
Right, so engine is out. Is the gear changer. We just took it out by the 6mm on the side there. But we will now try and look at the mounts and try and put this engine in.
Right. You've seen what we've been doing. We have done quite a bit without filming it, because we always do, because you get carried away and it's difficult to keep filming when you're trying to get something done. So we have placed the engine in the frame, as you can see there, and what we've done is we have used an engine mount there with a bracket off the between the two bikes. We've got the brackets for the engine mounts there. We've had to cut away that engine mount a little bit, and that has fit in there. We've got this top engine mount here, which we're going to make this bracket for, weld it on, cut them off and weld them to it, which is that bracket there. And then we've got a couple of brackets here, which I'm going to mount on the front, like that, to there, and weld them on as well. And we're just in the process of making the exhaust fit, because we've got 2 different exhausts, obviously. This is the one that came with the engine, and that's the one we're going to have to use to slot in. It's a slightly wider bore as well, but we've cut that off there, and we're going to make an exhaust using the 2 exhausts. So we've got that bit there, which is a slightly smaller bore, so we don't use those possible, but we probably ain't got enough pipe. And we've got that one there. So from this point, we need to come straight down there, through the frame, and then it goes sort of under here. So it goes down there, through the frame, and then up there. That's sort of trajectory it is, and then that is on there. So we're just using bits of pipe now from the exhausts to try and make what we need to make it work. So for instance, that sort of thing may be welded on there, and then that'll take us under the frame, and then we'll weld bend on the bottom. So just going to make it up out of bits, tack it together, take it off, and then take it over to the welder and do seam welds around it to make it completely leak free. The exhaust is a little rusty on the outside, but it's solid, so we should be able to weld it without a problem. You can see we've got all the carb in place there as well, which fits under the tank. So it's coming on bit at a time, and it is coming on. We've got to do something with the gears on the other side, like I've said before. The kickstart probably won't be able to be fitted because of the fairing, but if we can fit it, we will, because it's handy to have a kickstart. So anyway, I'll continue on making this exhaust. Right, excuse the absolute mess that we're always in. Seems to say that every time we do a video. I've now tacked the exhaust. I'll use old pieces of exhaust. I only had to use one bit of pipe there, but I've tacked it all the way around, and now the exhaust is complete. It just needs to be took off and welded around the seams to stop it leaking. We've used the old back box, which I think looks better, and we'll take the baffles out of it. But
First job.
yeah, when that's nice and welded up, it'll look good, and it will it'll pass all the fairings, so it won't be in the way of everything, because we've routed it exactly where the old one went, behind this, where the fairing comes round. It is a bit closer to the peg than before, but it still ain't going to cause any problems, I don't think. It's a 125, it don't get all that hot by that point, so it should be okay.
Keep your feet warm, isn't it?
Yeah, keep your feet warm. So there we go, another job complete on it. The next bit is to get it out to the big welder and actually weld the frame mounts onto it. This one might do it, you know. It's welded that alright, as long as it's nice and clean. It welds okay, so it might be worth seeing if we can weld it with this gasless welder rather than the big welder. If it does a nice weld, then we'll keep it. If it don't, then we'll grind them off and take it over to the gas welder. But that's got to be welded on there and then welded to it. And the two pieces for the front, we've got to check now that they clear this exhaust, which we might find one of them doesn't, which is this side. But if it doesn't, then what we'll do is we'll go down there instead. We'll get to that one there, and we can get to the top one on the other side, so it sort of braces it a bit higher and lower as well. So there we go. It's just been tacked, as you can see, so it's in position, and then we can take it off and weld it properly. Right, so we have now seam welded the exhaust, so hopefully there's no leaks in that, and the exhaust has gone back on like we were using the original back box. But yeah, we've seam welded that, that's done. We've done a mount on the frame there, welded that on, and we've got two to go down there, but I wanted to do the exhaust first in case it was difficult to get it past it. And then we've got the grips and everything on there, so we've got to hook up the throttle, the choke, and the what's it called, clutch. So we might need to put the clutch lever off that bike on it because of the clutch cable, or we won't be able to use the clutch cable. We'll have to look. It probably will fit in that lever, won't it? Yeah. Because there's some attachment to use this clutch as well. So that's where we are so far. We're getting closer and closer, so we should continue on. Right, update on where we are. I have wired everything back in. Basically, just put all the multi-plugs back together, all the connectors back together. Wired the battery up just so we've got a battery there to go. Everything else is all plugged in the same as we took it out that you've seen on the video. What I've done is I've kept Josh's original whatever that's called, an ignition switch, and the wires. There was 4 wires, they're the same colour, they just needed swapping round, so we've done that and swapped them round. There they are, you can see there, and we've swapped them round to match up to this one, which doesn't quite reach, so we're gonna have to pull them through a little bit, and then we'll plug them in. And then we've got to put the petrol tank on, all the engines in. The mounts are done bar one, which I can do later today. I'll just unlock the battery and weld that one on, and then that one's done. And then we just got to tie them all up. But before I do all that and finish off that stuff, I want to put the tank on and I want to see if it runs. So what I'm going to do now is connect that up, cable tie all these up and drop the tank on, and then we'll do a video and see if it starts. Right, it turns out in the bottom of this tank is a fuel pump, which is there, I've took out. There's 8 bolts round a little thing and you pull it out. You might be able to see it under there, that white thing. Can you see it? Probably not. There, look at the spout sticking out of it. That is in the pretty much in the way as well, but it's got a fuel pump in it, but we're gonna have to deal with that. I've sliced it trying to get it on. What I might have to do is turn the entire thing round backwards. But for now I'm just going to see if it'll run. Right, so the tank's just balancing there at the moment, well, there is fuel coming out of it, so we can turn it on. And we've got power to the screen there. Lights up. We've got a flashing indicator for some reason, but that's nothing to worry about at the moment. Let's give it a turn over. Pull the clutch in. What we need to double check is we've got a spark, so I'll check that. So the plug is here. Might be able to hear it. Right, I had to stop filming there a bit because my head come off because I dropped the tank. I've put a big dent in it, so Josh ain't going to be happy with that, but I'm going to have to get him a new tank because after up to. What the problem was, I was taking this fuel pump out because you got a fuel pump in there because it was electronically controlled, and this is obviously just gravity fed, this carb. So I had to take this out, and when I got it upside down there was some fuel in it. It spilt out, made the tank slippy, and I picked it up and it dropped out my hands, and I put that dent in it. Lovely. So now I've got to find a new tank. If anybody knows whether there's a new tank quick start, this video is going out today, and it is going out today. Today's the day I'll drop the tank in. Today is the day Teddy Bear after the picnic, and also it's the day of this build. Anyway, so we have got power to the clocks. There you go, and then the clock's off that bike. And we've got power to them on here. On that bike I showed you, I think it had got a switch on it where somebody had done some dodgy wiring. I've managed to repin this and get this to work. Now I'm going to show you. One thing is, where I've welded the exhaust together, it does push to that mount, but when it pushes to that mount, it creates a gap at the top here and we get a blow, so we don't want that. So I'm going to have to chop that, twist it a little bit and remount it. But there's no blows anywhere else. There's no baffles in the exhaust. So it sounds really good for a little 125. But this bike has got a clutch that you've got to pull, so you have to pull the clutch and then start the bike. So I did start it off camera, unfortunately. I didn't think it was going to start because I just put the tank on, but it fired straight up. So I'm going to show you it starting now. I'll put you up there. This bike you have to pull the clutch. It's going to be pretty loud, so volume warning. Pull the clutch. On. There you go. And it runs lovely, it's got a lovely idle. It sounds like an absolute beast. Lovely tick over noise. So I think Josh will be super happy about that. He ain't going to be happy about his tank, but he's going to be happy that it's running, and he's going to be happy that it sounds great. So this is the end of this particular video, because the rest of it is just putting the fairings back on, wiring the lights up, using the wires that we've got off the old one into the new wires, which is quite simple. But we will do one once it's together on a test drive and a little run on it, just to show you how quick it is and how it runs. We've also got to put the chain back on. So that's just got to go onto the sprocket there, which we're going to do, and we've got to do something with the gear lever, which we might do a little video on before we take it out for a ride. But other than that, super happy. Right, we thought we'd finish this video with the bike running and going on the road. As you can see, it's all together. The engine's in there. We've got the clocks mounted on there. We've got everything on there, everything's working like it should. The brake lights, the only thing we can't get to work is the light to say that it's in neutral, but that isn't an MOT fail, so you just need to know when it's in neutral. The bike we took it off hadn't got a fuel tank thing to tell you how much you've got in there, a fuel indicator, so you're just gonna have to know. But you know, on a motorbike like this, you can look in the tank, you can wobble a bit, you can hear the fuel. Anyway, it's all working. We've got lights, we've got ignition there, we've got lights, you can see that's working. Our lights are working front and rear. We've got indicators front and back, and we've got horn, chokes on there, accelerators on there, the cut-off works. What else? Everything works, brakes work, brake lights work, everything. What we had to do with the chain was we had to lengthen it a little bit because we've got a big sprocket on there. Maybe if it's not quick enough on the pullaways, which I think it will be, maybe we can go to a smaller sprocket, but the sprocket on this will give it a bit more top end than the old sprocket on the Yamasaki, which was a little tiny 13 or 12 already. So it's only little. So it's going out on the road anyway. Josh is about to go out and try it, and we'll show you it starting now. So Josh, get on and start that bad boy. clutch in, it has got a clutch cut off. Electric start. There you go. As you can hear, the exhaust has no baffles. And it sounds like an absolute beast. So this bike actually sounds like it looks like. It looks like a big bike, and it sounds like a big bike. It's still only a 125, but it'll do a lot more speed than the 40 mile an hour tops that the Yamasaki could do with the 50, and that was going down here with the wind behind you. So this should, hopefully it's 65. It has got a carb, we can do work to it. If we don't feel it's fast enough, we can put some bigger jets in the carb, we can change the needle, and we can adjust the settings. So we'll take it outside and see how it goes. Oh yes, lovely looking bike. Way bigger than a 125 would be normally, and massive compared to a 50. So obviously Josh has got to get a feel for the clutch. First time out. Okay, here I'm coming.